So, 8 o'clock, yep. Well, maybe I could change into these glasses. That might help me see better. Look, Clark Kent. Okay, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, aging. Having computer glasses and having regular glasses. So good morning, all. Good morning. And 80s Amazon 7. Nice to see you. Check me out. I'm doing some stuff on my list, actually. Nice to see you. So what did I do already this morning? I took walk number 1. And it was, here's the thing. I'm doing what my clients do. It wasn't a long walk, and it wasn't this, and it wasn't big, and I'm like, shh, it was a walk. I did the thing I said I was going to do. That is so important. There was something else I did too. It's actually funny. I did take my vitamins, and I got to write down, again, old people talk here. What are they? Fish oil tablets, or whatever they're called. So if anybody is wondering what I'm doing, this was just for the people on the Destination Decluttered Water. Yes, so check me out. Thank you for checking in with me, and you too. Here's the fun thing. I fill up my water in the morning, and then every little sip counts. Every little sip counts. So like when I was taking vitamins and I was sipping, when I got up and I tried to, put some gas in the tank, some water in the tank. So check me out, 80s Amazon 7. I don't know what's on your list, but I am high-fiving you for what you have done already, and if not, the stuff I know you're going to do today. Okay? So rock on in here. Cheers. Now, some of you may be wondering what we were just chatting about, and I had this is how I roll, people. I've been thinking about this on my short yet mighty morning walk. I was thinking about, I just think all the time. Probably that's why I get the occasional headache. Habits. Yes, we are creating a village. It is an awesome village. It's funny. Our town, I will share with you, is called Phoenixville. It's a ville. And you know how there's that phrase, it takes a village? We joke because we have a wonderful, I just love where we live. We have a wonderful community. I have a super duper group of friends. And we say it takes a ville, which kind of cracks me up. But anyhow, habits. That's what 80s Amazon 7 and I are chatting about, because last night, yesterday actually, the day that I started to feel better from having COVID, there we go, Abbott Elementary, habit tracking. I realized I needed to get back in the saddle again, back in the habit again of a lot of things. Now, not too many that I'm overwhelmed, but I was like, you know what? I gotta do something to change what I don't like. And basically what I'm not digging is how I feel in my body and how I feel about it. Now, how I feel about it is more up here and in here, but I know that it's going to make it easier for me to feel better in my body if I am drinking water, if I am getting some exercise, if I am taking vitamins, if I am getting, all that kind of boring kind of routine maintenance, as they would say if you were a car. And so I decided, because this is how I roll, I am flexible, okay? I am flexible, and I realized this morning when the song Don't Fence Me In was coming to my head, that I really I do my best when I am left to my own devices and not crowded, etc. And yet I know it would be fun, and maybe you people, that sounds horrible. Maybe the folks on the Destination Decluttered mailing list, the members only list, no, we don't have jackets with little epaulets on it, might want to be tracking some habits, getting back in the habit again of some good stuff. So I printed out a habit tracker. I threw a Zoom up there. I sent an email out, and a bunch of us got together very informally last night. It was pretty much like a pajama party, because I literally had my pajamas on, and we're tracking our habits. And we're doing this to help us reinforce, to kind of pave the way to better habits. I love this. Sherry is saying, I got up early and cleaned my inside of my car windows and also gassed up. It's great to start early. Yes. Sherry, I love that, because that film that gets on there, sometimes you don't even know it's there. which reminds me I should probably be making sure I don't have that film inside my glasses. But man, when you do those things, you don't realize how bad things are. And it sounds extra dramatic until until you do something about it and you realize it. I realized that when I was talking about hotel rooms to myself this morning when I was walking, being like, you don't realize how nice a hotel can be until you've stayed at a bunch of not so nice ones. So Kathy is saying, hey, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. So glad I found you, and I sure need some encouragement. Well, man and ma'am, do I have encouragement to give, because I am speaking to you from the other side. I am speaking to you from the other side. I used to be cluttered. I'm still kind of cluttered because I'm a human. I got some stuff in my basement I have to deal with, but it is so much better. So much better. Wilbur. So much better than it used to be. And I say this to you not to show off. I am not a shower offer. If anything, if I showed off about all the cool stuff about me, I would be annoyed by myself. I come to you as a quiet encouragement to be like, man, life just feels better when you are decluttered. There's so many positive ripple effects that you get when you declutter your home. Now, I don't force you to do this. What I'm doing is to encourage you, to say it's so worth it to start the journey, to start the road trip, okay? And you can start at any time. You can start anytime. Yesterday, because, I don't know, that's kind of how, not I'm wired. Sometimes I just need like an excuse. I get an excuse, an excuse. Yesterday I said, you know what? I want to start tracking my habits on August 1st. No, nobody says you can't start your tracking your habits today on August 2nd. Okay? And you can start at any time. Right down here, and I'm always bad with names because they scroll by me like, the ticker tape or whatever. But Sherry said that she got up early and cleaned the inside of the car windows and said I had been staring at it for weeks. Notice that, you guys. You can stare at something for weeks and notice what goes through your head when you say that. You say, I got to do that. I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. Well, today or yesterday, today was actually the day you got to it. So there was something that changed there. As opposed to saying, pushing it off, you said, today's the day. And maybe you didn't make a big stink about it. You just said, all right, let me just go do that. Learning to not make a big deal of it. Sometimes you need to make kind of you need to be formal and be like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to schedule this. Other times you can just kind of creep up on yourself and do this stuff without, as I like to say, waking up the kids in the back seat. Because it's a combo of stuff that's going to get you going. It is a unique cocktail to you of what works for you and what doesn't. And so use all the ingredients in that cocktail that get you going. Sometimes I need to sit down and say, okay, at 10:15, I'm going to call the dentist and I am going to reschedule those that appointment that I have, because I don't particularly like making phone calls. Sometimes I need to be a little bit more structured with myself, so I show up and do it. Other times I do what's called a putter and declutter, where I just kind of putter around and do some things, and when I see the things that are bugging me, I know what to do. It's very kind of loosey-goosey. To me, it's the balance about those two things. I am learning what works for me, and I want to encourage you to find out what works for you. That's what it's all about. Because learning about yourself, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Look at me, I'm breaking into song. This is how my brain works. Getting to know yourself, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. I don't know, Rodgers and Hammerstein maybe? Kathy says, I have found my people. Yeah. It's a really fun community. I will share this with you, and I'm so bad with the names. So 80s Amazon 7 mentioned last night when I did this impromptu Zoom call about tracking your habits. She offered that she's like, you should do a Patreon, because I love what you do, and I would love to kind of, contribute, like spend money to get more content from you, or not more, but get content from you. And I will say this, I am really going to give something like that serious thought, but I have to make sure that that is something that feels right to me, because I know myself, and maybe you know yourself too, that when you feel like you have to do it, you show up in a different energy. When I do it because I want to, and I think this is fun and it'll be a place of connection and I get something out of it too, man, do I show up all the time. I mean, look at how much I show up pretty much doing a TikTok live almost every single day. You can tell this because if you look at the stats of, or not even the stats, the sheer number of TikTok live videos that are on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, you will see that at some point there was a marked increase in how many are per folder of each month. And that's because I truly enjoy doing these. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't show up, people. No, I would do something else. But I like doing this. So I'm finding a way. I will say this. I put it on my back burner to say what's a way that I could offer a certain level of product, a certain level of whatever. And I'm coming up with some ideas and I'm like, oh, that could be fun. That could be fun. When I hear myself saying that could be fun, that's when I know I'm kind of on the right track. So I say this to you to just kind of plant a seed that maybe sometime in the future, because I've also talked about doing some more, like paper parties and clothing parties and things where we get together on Zoom at a certain time and then we all go and, open your closet and deal with stuff. That type of thing might be bundled under some sort of monthly subscription thing. I'm only planting a seed, but the reason I'm telling you this is because if you like that idea, you can encourage me to do it, to be like, yeah, I'd want that too. But also to notice yourself when you say, oh, that could be fun. Okay, so Kathy, if you like people who want to have fun and get stuff done, because I'm always about getting the stuff done. I am not a good like Dewey Beach party person. I am like a librarian at is it the Bottle and Cork? No, the Rudder. I am like the librarian with her cardigan and her glasses in the corner with a book and earplugs. But man, if we're having fun, a certain kind of fun and getting stuff done, I love it. Okay, me is saying my best time to declutter and organize is in the morning. Okay, notice that. That is powerful information. Everybody, do you have a time of day where things just feel easier for you? Okay, if you notice that. If you don't, pay attention today. When does it seem like you're just kind of breezing along? Oh, this is good. I'm in my groove. Things are easy. This is no big deal. And then there'll be a certain time where you may be like, all right, I'm kind of done. I am a morning person. That's why I show up typically more in the morning than I do in the evening. I will do occasional evening things, but I don't coach in the evening because that's not where my best energy is. And I am really serious about giving my people the best of my energy. Whoa, whoa, you got the best of my love. Whoa, whoa. Dance party. That's what we'd be having. My husband is a night owl. He is groggy in the morning. He's like, where's my coffee? I don't know. Now, he's a rocker. He's been up. He was probably up until 3 a.m. last night because he's working on music. You know what? Work with the circadian rhythms you have. Okay? 80s Amazon 7 says, no new content, just post old. You see, I like creating content. This is a creative outlet for me because what this is doing is it's allowing me to express what I've got in me and get it out in the world. But the cool thing is, here's the cool, also, 80s Amazon 7. You might know this and you might not, and maybe other folks do. So my TikTok lives, when they are done being live here, TikTok allows me to download them. It didn't work on one or two instances. Sometimes there's a corruption in the file, technology. But I take those those recordings, and I then upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. There are like hundreds of them, which is crazy for me to think that I have done hundreds of TikTok lives. But they're there for you to access. And I do this kind of in that, like they're almost in the freezer as like, not leftovers, but as something you can reheat and get some nourishment from when I am traveling. So it's not fresh food, but it's the next best thing. Instead of starving, I'm like a TV dinner. And a really good one too, with like the little chocolate thing in the middle, So think of it that way. Is I like to take care of my people. I am an eldest child. I'm an oldest daughter of an oldest daughter of an oldest daughter. Are you surprised I have no children of my own? Yes. I have taken care of people all my life. I have risen to management, whether I've wanted to or not. It is in my nature to be kind of a mama duck sometimes, but also say, here, have some grain. Mama's going to go, in this pond and she'll be away for a while, but you'll be okay. So I take care of my people. All right. Yeah. Morning after 4, my brain is Swiss cheese. Okay. So notice things about you and write these things down. And Cat Mama's saying, hey, Erin, oh, you know what? I almost grabbed my mug. I don't have a mug because I'm trying to drink some more water. Cool thing is that there's water in tea too. So I tea for two and two for tea. I figure if I drink 2 of these today, throughout the course of the day, and anything that I drink, iced tea, hot tea, all the teas, I will be in good shape. And man, I gotta tell you, I'm pissing like a racehorse, as I've once heard somebody in my family say. When you hydrate, you're just I'm in the bathroom all the time. Okay, so what I want to help you with today, when I'm here for the next 45 minutes or so, is Kathy. Okay, you start, whee, and then I get overwhelmed. Overwhelm is so freaking common when you are decluttering. So I want to help you with that. And this is the wonderful place to start. This is probably the number one most important tool in your entire toolkit when you are decluttering. Now, and again, I always forget to kind of introduce me before I leap into who is this person to tell me what to do when I'm decluttering? Well, hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. So I don't just help you declutter, your house. It's a little declutter and life coaching combo. I'm like the Reese's peanut butter cup of awesomeness. I was cracking up at my own joke and now I lost my train of thought. My coaching's called Destination Decluttered. So Kimberly, let me help you. Oh, excuse me. Kimberly, I'll get to you in a second. But starting and get overwhelmed. Overwhelm is like the number one thing that people look and they like, oh my God, too much. Notice how my body moved when I thought of overwhelm. My eyes were looking up. My body moved back and almost my hands were like this. Almost in that I give up, but you're also kind of pushing stuff away. It's too much. Whoa, I'm overwhelmed. Notice, first of all, when you start to feel overwhelmed, and get used to, this is the way I coach, get used to noticing how your body feels. Now, when you feel overwhelmed, as I would say if we were coaching, where do you feel it in your body? Do you feel it in your fingertips? Do you feel it in the tip of your nose? Do you feel it in your left knee? Do you feel it in your right butt cheek? Now, I feel my overwhelm in my torso, mostly torso. I feel it in my chest, in my heart, and in my gut. Like, this to me is a feeling thing. I can also sometimes feel it up here in like a tension headache type thing, but mostly it's here. This is what I call your heart, just for alliteration purposes. And I want you to pay attention to that. And the first thing ever to do, if you're feeling overwhelmed, is first of all, I use things like a road trip analogy. I want you to realize you're driving along and then you get overwhelmed, pull over. Stop, pull over and stop, slow down, just like, I'm going to pull over to the side of the road. Before I go any further, I'm going to address what's going on here. Because if I try to drive through, it's like almost like when your engine is making a tick, 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 tick sound or something weird. You're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good in my car. I got to pull over and diagnose this and then fix it so I can move. I can get back on the road and move smoothly ahead. Pull over to the side of the road. Put your foot down, and this is where you will hear me say, because I do this, overwhelm has the word over in it. I want you to think of the opposite. And for me, when I coach, the opposite of overwhelm is going to be just the word down, because there are so many ways that you can think of the word down, and it's going to help you feel better and less overwhelmed. Because instead of being overwhelmed by all the stuff above your head, you're going to calm down. You're going to look down. Maybe you're going to just calm down. You're going to breathe down. You're going to slow down. You're going to quiet down. You're going to settle down. You're going to, as I say, quiet down. Turn down the volume on that radio. Slow down your engine. Put your foot down on the brake. Get into park. Sit there with yourself. Notice where it's feeling. I don't know, shake your body down to the ground. Move around your muscles so it dissipates. Softly focus down on something. All sorts of things you can do to reduce the overwhelmed feeling in your body. And one of the things you can also do, especially, is to calm down what I call your backseat drivers. Notice the words in your head that are making you feel overwhelmed, because words in your head will make you feel overwhelmed. Quiet them down. Shh. Shh. It's okay. Because the words in your head when you're overwhelmed is like, oh my God, this is so much. Oh, I don't know what to do here. Oh my God, why didn't I do, there's so much. Why did I do this before? Why did I buy all this stuff? I don't even know. Why did I even get started? Shh. That kind of talk doesn't help you move forward. The cool thing is, kind of like the opposites we talked about over and down, you have another opposite, which is you have your backseat driver voice, the no, we can't, we're doomed, and this is overwhelming, and I don't know, and fear, and no, and yeah, but shh, when you quiet that one down, kind of like meditation in a bit, then you allow space for your kind of co-pilot voice to speak up. The person, the voice in you that's sitting there in the passenger seat, quieting down the backseat driver and then being like, look, you got this. This is just stuff you bought at Target. This is not a big deal. You can do this. You have done harder things in your life. I know you can do this. This is not rocket science. I show up often on my TikTok lives talking in that kind of co-pilot voice. The person next to you says, okay, I get where you are here, but let's quiet them down and then let's go someplace fun. Let's do something. Let's do something different here, as opposed to just listening to them and staying stuck and spinning your wheels. Okay? Notice you have the power to do this in you. Practice it. It gets better and easier and better. Okay? So overwhelmed to down. Just think of the word down. Now I'm going to drink down some water. Cool stuff. Okay. This is the thing. Kimberly is saying, I organize all the cupboards, but I put all the extra stuff on a table and don't know how to deal with it. Okay, so notice the word all. All. That's kind of an all or nothing. That notwithstanding, all the extra stuff is on the table. Notice you said extra. It's extra. Extra implies you don't really need it. It's just a bonus. It's just an extra. This is where we're going to be working out with weights. Decision-making muscle, okay? Deciding what to do. Now, here's another down for your list of downs to help you through this, is chunking down. Don't look at all the stuff on the table. What I would recommend, Kimberly, is to categorize that stuff. Okay, so instead of a big kind of mishmash on the table, categorize it. Categories. Name of stuff on the table. I've got, coffee mugs, dishes. I've got, I don't know, stuff. I can't, my brain's not working 100%. Categorize your things. And then after you do that, then chunk down and say, what can I do with these mugs? What could I do? What do I want to do? And this is where it gets interesting, because you may want to do something, but then the voice might be, oh, you can't do that. You can't give that away. You spent good money on that. What if you need it? You'll notice that your voices are the ones that are really influencing you as to what you do and what you don't do. Okay? So notice those things, and then you can do something about it. When you notice something, you can do it. You can do something about it. Okay? Same thing. I love it, Erin. Thank you for coming in. Try to start small. Tell yourself you will only do what's in arm's reach in 10 minutes only. Yeah. Right here, people. And even doing that, give yourself some of those. So funny. When we used to do yoga with Adrienne, it looks even goofier when I'm in my chair, but she used to do this thing. I can't remember what it's called, and I used to call it the car wash, because you're like kind of flopping around like those floppy things in the car wash. Get your body moving. Do whatever's in arm's reach. And then move your circle, and then do whatever's in arm's reach. Have fun with it, okay? Overwhelmed with too many clothes, pebbles. Yeah, same thing. Second verse, same as the first. Calm down the overwhelm. From over to down, then chunk it down. Categorize it. Don't try to please everybody. I know there's a lot of people out there say, empty out your whole wardrobe and then decide. No. I say no because that's going to overwhelm you and it's going to create more problems than it solves. What I say is be strategic. Know that you might be somebody who gets easily overwhelmed and work with yourself. So with your clothing, again, categories. So maybe what you do is, instead of pulling all your clothes out of the closet or the drawer, maybe what you do is, so for example, your bureau, instead of pulling it all out, you do one drawer at a time. Because you've probably already kind of categorized your clothes in your drawers, or you might have a mishmash, I don't know. That will help you chunk it down. I'm going to do my underwear drawer first, and then I'm going to do my yoga pants drawer, and then I'm going to do my, what do I have in that third drawer? Sweatshirt drawer, and then I'm going to do my pajamas and bras, and then I'm going to do my t-shirts, and then I'm going to do, actually, here's a funny thing, you guys, I am so decluttered, and you see me, I wear the same clothes over and over again. I don't care. I have an entire drawer of my bureau, and it's only a 6-drawer bureau, that is devoted to me throwing some of my all my travel stuff in it. My packing cubes, my sleep mask, whatever the stuff is. I love having a drawer full of travel stuff because that means I travel a lot. Chunk it down. Clothes in your closet. Just pull out one category. Today I'm only going to work on dresses. Maybe you have too many dresses. Today I'm going to pull out just my black dresses. Now, all I have is black dresses. But notice what I've done. Instead of trying to do it all, you're going to do some. It's not going to be all or nothing. Notice the difference. That all or nothing thinking, that perfection or whatever, that dramatic thing. No, we are going for some and better and some, and little bits at a time. This is how you get the cool stuff to happen. All right, there we go. Okay, so next steps. You know where your anxiety comes. Notice that. Notice that. Blot your head. All right. Do you have decoration? Do you keep it? I just want to understand what decluttering is. Oh my God, Sarah King, wicked easy answer. Wicked easy. Decluttering is the act of removing things you don't want from your life. Now, I don't know if that's what it says in Merriam-Webster's. That would actually be really interesting. Let me look at the definition of, I cannot spell for poop, you guys. Definition of decluttering. Decluttering. Removing unnecessary items from an untidy home or overcrowded place. That's what it is. I'm decluttered, but look at how cool I've decorated with my stuff. You can have decorations. I am not minimalist by any stretch of the imagination, except my house feels very elegant and easy to move through, and I don't have a lot of stuff I don't want. The stuff I have is stuff I do want. Okay? And yes, the definition does include people and activities. Because, yes, and every drop in the bucket, Michelle, good call. I love it. Okay? And the definition of decluttering, this is where the lifey coachy part comes in. Because it is noticing what you want in your life and noticing what you don't. Now, decluttering people from your life can probably trigger a bit of, that sounds, what am I going to do? Shh. We're going to practice you creating the life you want by starting with just stuff you bought, stuff you inherited, stuff that was made in a factory, right? When you learn how good it feels to not be surrounded by stuff that brings you down, you can then move on to experiences. You can then move on to people. Now, you may not be able to declutter them 100%, but boy, can you put up boundaries, I know certain activities I have no interest in that I would show up being like the turd in the punch bowl, as our friend Ken would say, or the party pooper. So I don't do those things. But I I say to them, you go, you have that fun. That's not my idea of fun. And so I know what I like. This is so funny. I also feel like Brian Callahan. I know what I like and I don't know what I don't like. Yes, can I declutter my husband and son? I'd have less stuff. Yeah, see how it goes? Yeah, it's not so easy, is it? Kind of like, I will share this with you. When you're in your car, and this is the metaphorical car, you are the driver. You think you're alone. Sometimes you wish you were alone. No. You have two invisible passengers, which are extensions of yourself. You have your backseat driver that makes driving more difficult, and you have your co-pilot who makes driving easier. Neither of those people can steer the car, but man, can they talk to you from where they're sitting to encourage you to move in one direction and discourage you from moving in another. You never get rid of those voices in your head until you die. And God, maybe even then you don't. I don't know. I'm not dead. I'm not dead yet. Also, while you can You know, you can declutter certain people from your life, but sometimes you can't. Family are the people you're stuck with. So there are certain things you're going to get stuck with that even if you don't want them, how are you going to manage your relationship with them so you feel better? It could be anything from hanging out with them less to keeping your distance to only talking about certain topics. Notice every time I'm doing that, it's kind of boundaries. It could be as serious as never speaking to them again. It could be even more serious. It could be taking out a, what do you call that thing? Like a do not contact thingy with the law, you know? We think it would be easier to live with those other people, but we would miss them at a certain point. However, let me address this, you guys, because I don't live alone. If I lived alone, this house would look totally different. I don't, though. I live with my husband, okay? Christine, nice to see you. Learning how to declutter yourself can help you live better with other people because you can also teach them. Because here's the deal, people. For me, the buck stops here as far as that outdated notion that the woman is in charge of the house and she picks up after everybody. If you like to live that way, have at it. But I'm not your gal. To me, decluttering is a life skill no matter how old you are and however you identify. Learning to take care of your own stuff and putting away things and deciding what you want and what you don't want and taking care of your stuff is something that every single human on the planet should do. Even little kids can be taught to put away their toys. But if you don't know these skills yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to not only teach them from a place of true knowledge, but also maintain that. Because if you're struggling with it yourself, how can you teach them? How could you teach somebody how to drive if you don't know how to drive yourself? Restraining order, yes. Thank you, Lori. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of it. I grew up in a cluttered household. I grew up with people who were raised by people directly affected by the Great Depression and even generations before that. My people came over from Ireland because opportunity was bad there and they came here looking for opportunity. So if you think about the ways that people thought and felt about items and stuff and lack, like seriously legit, back in the day, things were different. Yeah. And so you can change that now. Good morning, G. Schnauzer. Nice to see you. Rainwater2561 is saying not being taught that skill is hard. Yeah, and you've noticed that because you're hanging out here 8:30 on a Friday morning with me. No big deal. I love it. Talking about my generation. We're the generation who's going to change this stuff. We're going to say no to that kind of overconsumption, and we're going to say yes to getting the balance right, like Depeche Mode. We're going to say, you know what, that I thought that worked for me in the past, and for a while it did, but right now, no, I got too much, and I don't want to keep on living like this. I want to change that, and not just for me, but for the other generations that I am influencing. This is where I come from because I know what it's like to grow up cluttered, live cluttered, but I also know what it's like to be just walking around a house where I'm like, everything's in its place. Somebody asks where my checkbook is. There's my checkbook. When I go to find my birth certificate, there's my birth certificate. Where's my sneakers? Where are my sneakers? I pretty much know where they are. You can learn this skill. And it is a skill. And this is the wonderful thing. Investing the time to learn how to declutter and the money, if you want me to be your coach, is an investment in the entire rest of your life. Now, it's funny because when I coach people, I do only a 10-session package. It's how I've decided to do it because it feels good. And people can sign up for more than one package, at a time. I have people who are on their first, on their second, on their third, on their fourth, on their fifth. However much you need me to be with you, I am there for you. Oftentimes when people hear that I charge a price for that 10 package, I seriously make it easy for you to do the math. But the math doesn't even mean anything because it's not like, oh, well, if it's this and I divide it by 10, then it's that amount per hour. No, because what you're forgetting is what you're learning with me. It's kind of like going to college, that the stuff you learn does not only just apply in the classroom, it sticks with you for the rest of your life. Now, I don't know how much I learned in college that stuck with me. Hopefully it's kind of imbued. But I talk about this with driving your car. You didn't know how to do something. You learned how to do it. Maybe you paid somebody who was good at it to help you. You got your license, and then now all you do is practice. And you probably have some good habits when you're driving. You probably have some not so good habits driving. But for the most part, the things you practice, that was an investment in your time and energy to learn something you didn't know before. Okay? So, yeah, Miss Nisi says, yes, my mom was a clutterer, and my grandfather was a hoarder too. Makes sense based on history. Yeah, when you pull out, and again, you look at things in context. You don't judge people, but you have empathy for them to say they were doing the best they could with what they had. Because back in the day, there was no Amazon. Back in the day, there were not these modes of transportation, of getting goods from point A to point B, of giant factories that were churning out stuff left, right, and center, and not just here in the U.S., but the ability to get stuff done cheaply overseas and winging its way over here. We are a product of the time of our civilization that we live in, and we are in the ease of over consumption and the lack of feeling, and also being told by society, buy my product and you will feel better. Now, I would be disingenuous if I didn't say I am also hawking my wares. I do sell coaching, but that's a different thing to me. I am selling a different way of thinking and acting and doing that you have for the rest of your life. It's not just something that's just a payment like a TV. You buy it, you got it, boom, it's done. So notice where you came from. Look through your rear view mirror. Notice that. Generations back, your own generations. I've got like freaking decades behind me. My birthday's next week, and this freaks me out, but I can see my 60s like closer through the windshield than I would like. So I even have my 50s to look back on. And learn from where you came from so that you can use that information to do something different as you move forward. Okay? This is what I love about coaching is it can get really interesting and you can learn about yourself and apply that insight and turn it into action to change the trajectory of where you're going, and not just change it randomly, pointing to say what I'm going to do now is going to get me to where I want to go. And I am living, breathing, traveling, coaching proof of that. Now, Dawn Z says, I've got a small bedroom that turned into a walk-in closet which needs to be worked on. Awesome. Yeah, Jen B is saying, and she knows, chunk it down and work on a small section at a time. Every bit counts. The bedroom I had when I was growing up in my family house, because my mother still loves in the house, loves in the house that I grew up in. As soon as I moved out, boy, did my bedroom turn into her walk-in closet. Has she dealt with a lot? Does she wear those clothes? No. She wears maybe 1% of the clothing she has, but she came from not a lot. To her, it's a big deal to have clothes. But you know what? She's a human like the rest of us. She probably puts on a t-shirt and sweatpants 80% of the time. But it feels good for her to have those clothes just in case. So notice where you came from. Notice why you made it into a closet and say, oh, that was important to me then. Is it important to me now? There we go. Yes, LPK0602 says, my mom was mean about keeping the house clean. Notice the rhyme. I have a hard time not associating neatness and mean. Notice the association. Never mind, love. Ba, 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 ba. The association. I am like an AM, FM radio in my head at all times. The association with being clean. If it's going to be mean. I'm going to get yelled at. It's going to be unpleasant for me to clean because somebody was always yelling at me. I know that feeling because I was told as a kid, you cannot go out and play on a Saturday. You cannot walk down to downtown and, go to Carol Cosmetics and play with Bonnie Bell lip smackers and lip glosses and purses with your friends until you clean your room. However, my parents didn't know how to clean their rooms, so they couldn't teach me. And so it was a struggle for me. But noticing that association, you can now undo that. Here's a really cool thing. I like this, and this is where the life coaching gets really cool. You can change the past. Now hear me out. You can change the past because the past only exists in your brain, and your memories are malleable. You can change your memories. You can go back to that time and look at it in a different way. You can turn down the saturation. You can pump up the volume. You can switch, you can decide it meant something different. You can feel something different about what happened decades ago right now. This is the life coachy part of it. And then the next time you think about that, it will not have the same effect. Okay? This is the really cool stuff. This is how I coach about decluttering. Again, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. If you resonate with this, you might want to get on my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com, scroll down, put in your email, consider it done. I do a lot of cool things with my email people, and my one-on-one clients, my paid clients, get the best of the best because everything we talk about is directly to them, not just to the masses. It's to the classes. Tickin, I gotcha. I'm a teacher and go back to work Monday. I feel so bad for you. I am such a little kid at heart. I cannot frickin' believe that people are going back to school in frickin' August. To me, the way my calendar goes, school is not allowed to start until after Labor Day weekend. But I feel bad that you have to do that. But yes, here, let me help you. Let me give you a gift. Does your YouTube have any of these lives recorded? Yes. Pretty much every live I've done in the past year and a half is on YouTube. Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Now I will tell you, again, when I mentioned being on the mailing list, and that might be a subscriber model thing at some point, I'm thinking about it. The gears are turning. You get first dibs on the ones that I do most currently. So for example, during the month of July, the only people who could watch the TikTok lives from July were the people on my Destination Decluttered mailing list. Now that July is over, those ones are now public. But the August ones will be kind of under wraps just for people on the mailing list and kind of lather, rinse, repeat. So there are tons of them there. Yes, so you are not alone. I am here to help you. And I will say this, I have coached clients, I have had one-on-one clients, multiple one-on-one clients who are teachers. So if you have teacher-related questions and we do these TikTok lives, pop them in the comments. If you want me to be your coach, I can do that too. All sorts of good stuff, but I am here to help you. Okay, yeah, wasn't taught to clean, just told to do it. Yeah, don't do it as I say. Don't do as I do as I say. Okay, see there. Oh my God, I can breathe now, thank you. Yes. Now go have some fun this weekend before you have to go to school. I'm such a little brat. Okay, there we go. Phew. Yeah, and as a teacher, we save so much. I know that. I know that because I've worked with teachers and I'm also a saver too. You see potential in things. I might need this someday. This curriculum, these things that I use for this class, but not that class, but I might use them in the future. You know? Yeah, you can't do it by yourself. You're not expected to do everything by yourself. Somebody taught you how to walk. Somebody taught you how to drive a car. Somebody taught you things you didn't know. Ooh, notice this. I save stuff to prove that I was a good teacher. I save stuff to prove I was a good student. Did I save the papers that I didn't do well at? No. Do I still have a paper from like 1982 about the Art Deco influences of Egypt in early 1930s from my social studies class in high school? But Little Black Dog says, I save unnecessary stuff. Necessary is an interesting word. If you save stuff that makes you feel good, notice that you're saving it to feel good. There's nothing wrong with feeling good. But if we look for external things to make us feel good, we start with here and say, do I need to do that? Do I need to keep that? No. Do I want to keep that? Interesting questions. You know? Yeah. Okay, we got plenty of teachers here. You know? I love that. And you guys, we are here to, support each other. All right? Now, I've missed some things because I was too busy talking. Well, let me do this. Let me do this. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Mom started vacuuming Saturday and still sleeping. Was in nursing school all week. Didn't matter. Yeah. You know what? I have sympathy and empathy for the women who came before us. I do. She was probably, those women lived under so many more restrictions than we ever had. And let's keep it that way, shall we? Let's stop restricting. Let's open shit up. Okay? We have to for us and the generations. Yeah. I'm not going to get political, but look at me. You pretty much know where I stand by my short hair and glasses and lack of makeup. But I will say this. I have a better understanding and more love in my heart for the people who came before me as opposed to anger, because I put into context where they were coming from. That they were doing the best they could with what they had. You know? Yeah, notice that when somebody did something and it didn't feel good, the energy behind what you do can make or break what you do. I can say to you in a loving energy, hey, I'm just curious, why are you keeping this pen? Same words, different, was it? Second verse, same as the first. I'm Henry VIII, I am. Why did you keep this pen? Why do you keep this? Same words, different energy, different outcome. Different energy, different outcome. Check with how you feel about yourself, how you talk about yourself. Get the balance right. Come from love and not anger and fear. It's a game changer. But notice these things that happen to us decades later. Because of what somebody did decades ago, you still have a bad taste in your mouth. You have a bad feeling in your heart about doing certain things because of what somebody did beforehand. We are humans. Our nervous system has no idea what decade it is. Because if you're still feeling something that was caused back in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, and beyond, just notice that. The cool thing is when you notice that, now you can change it. Because if it doesn't know if it's 1976 or 1996 or 2024, you can also be like, you know what, let's go into the future. How does it feel when we're hanging out in our decluttered home with a Bertoya chair and a lamp and a nice rug and there's my luggage packed to go on vacation? You can port yourself into the future and feel a different feeling and bring that feeling back into your heart. Okay? So notice this. Okay. I'm on your mailing list. I love it, Sis Ticket. How do I become a one-on-one client? It says 1 to 2 client. Easy peasy. You sign up for a consultation. I'll be honest with you. I don't have any consultations on my calendar right now, but the people on my mailing list will be the first ones to know about it. The reason I don't have any is because I'm a human. I also only schedule myself out about every 2 weeks for things like that because I like to have a flexible schedule. Next week I am traveling. Thank goodness I'm feeling better. And so I don't want to promise that I'm going to do a consultation when I'm out on vacation. You do not need to worry about me coming back and putting consultation slots on the calendar. I will do that. People on the mailing list get first dibs, and a consultation is just you and me talking on Zoom, very informally. That's how coaching is. Coaching is on Zoom, an hour a week for 10 sessions minimum, and then 10 sessions. It's a package. There's a price associated with it. You pay it all up front, electronically, because that's how I roll. And on the consultation, we just make sure that what you're struggling with is something I can help you with. And if my coaching and our relationship seems like it's going to be a good fit for you, that's all it is. I don't go into heavy selling and fear mongering. I say, this is what I do. This is how much it costs. How does that feel? If it feels good, we move forward. If it doesn't, I honor where you are and know that the timing just may be off. Okay? So that's how it is. All right. I am catching up on stuff, people. All right. Yeah. Okay. Here's an interesting thing. Somebody's saying, I have a hard time knowing what I want the house to be like because all I do is not like her. Notice being reactionary. I don't want this. I want that. I mean, look at my house, you guys. It's like the total polar opposite of how I grew up. I grew up traditional, colonial, brown, antiques, Brimfield, conservative, old-timey. I never liked that stuff. Some people do. I don't. But that's okay. Knowing what you don't like is a step closer to knowing what you do like. So think of that as important information. I don't like brown. I like hot pink. I don't like 1886. I like 1986 or 1866, that type of thing. Notice what you don't like. It informs what you do like. Okay? Paperwork, people. The more I think about this, I love the seed that, you planted earlier about doing some sort of kind of subscription model, because I keep on seeing, now that I think about it, opportunities where if there was like a monthly fee, and I'm just totally riffing on this right now, a monthly just thing that every month I could be like, you know what, as opposed to kind of nickel and diming you, you'd be like, $25 a month, and then we're going to do this week, this week, this week. Some structure about going through paperwork, about going through your clothes, about dealing with the holidays as they come up. So I'm thinking about that. I've got it on the back burner, and it's kind of on a little rolling boil, but there seems to be something about it. Baby, I like. Yeah. All right. I'm a teacher too. All right. Wouldn't you like to be? Yes. Yep, exactly. So many women before us couldn't control their choices, but could control the house and cleaning. But man, you know it. When you're aggravated about stuff, you may flip around the vacuum and bang into things because you're frustrated, but you don't have any other outlets. You know? Seriously, yeah. Avocado green, people. Avocado green. And goldenrod. And burnt sienna. Yeah. I love it. Kimberly's saying, I categorized and I'm loving it. Oh, see? Good stuff, people. Okay. This is what we do. Okay. It was a difficult and different world. Let's make sure we are the people who change that for us and for other people now. Because you get used to how things are and you may just be complacent. You may be like, oh, well, this is just how it is. Lisa is saying you like the subscription idea. Cool. Thank you for that. Because I want to make sure it's worth it to you. And I also want to make sure it's worth it to me. But here's my deal. I will share this with you guys. And I know we've got about 9 or so minutes, but I'm just riffing on it. The way the calendar works in my head and in my heart, I see August as kind of a transitionary month. I truly try to believe it's still summer, yes, it's still summer, okay, mama, and it's still summer. But I know that back to school in the fall, in the winter is coming. So the interesting thing would be, it might be fun to play with in the fall, saying, you know what, starting in September, I don't know if it's going to, this is a creative process. In September, starting like some sort of subscription model, kind of like a Patreon, to be like, okay, if you sign up and it's like $25 a month or something like that, we will do the following each month. Every month there'll be this, and this. Now, the only thing that keeps me stopping that is because I don't want to feel fenced in. I want to make sure that what I'm offering aligns with me. Because if I show up in resentment, I am not bringing my best self. So that's why I'm mulling these things over. It also may be a drop-in fee type of thing. That may be a little bit more flexible. Like, you know, hey, on Sunday, September X, we're going to get together for 90 minutes. We're going to declutter, we're going to get into our closets and we're going to do some clothing decluttering together. If you want to drop in like a yoga class, it's like $15. It may be something like that. But the reason I'm putting the money into it is, notice this, you guys. You're not doing it on your own. And there's plenty of free info there. Sometimes paying for something gets you to show up. I know this myself because I pay to take yoga classes. During COVID and I couldn't do it, you betcha I was on Yoga with Adriene in my living room. Nowadays, I do that occasionally, but when there's also, oh, I'll get to it, I'll do it, yeah, whatever. But when I have signed up and paid for a yoga class, I show up for that class. I show up, and part of what helps me show up to do the thing I know is going to be good for myself is to spend a little bit of money. It helps create accountability. You're so right. We show up differently for things we pay for versus things we get for free. Ignite Yoga says, absolutely. Hello. Yeah, you know it. You know it. I also say this too because look at how this affects your decluttering. You probably have an easier time releasing things that you didn't pay a lot of money for or you got for free than things that you paid good money for. Notice there's a different feeling in that paying money for something. You know, it's one of the reasons why I do my one-on-one coaching. I say, before our very first session, you are required to pay everything up front because then you're in it to win it. You're not kind of piecemealing it out there and giving yourself an opportunity to bail. You know? Yes, and I hear you, Cat Mama. This is where I'm kind of going to. I like the drop-in idea. Don't like being regimented, now retired. Yes, I noticed when I was walking around the park, and check me out, I took a morning walk today. It's been weeks because I was sick, I was lazy. Now I'm feeling better and I'm trying to get back in the habit again. I got the song Don't Fence Me In coming through my head, and I am mindful of that. I want to feel good about what I do, and if I feel like I'm doing it because I have to, oh man, don't tell me what to do. I am a rebel, Dottie. I'm a loner. I am a rebel. So I'm playing with these ideas. I'm just sharing that with you to see that this is on the horizon. But this is not also meant to be. I want to make sure I get the last 5 minutes. It's not about me and where I'm at, but I just think it's fun to let you know the kind of the creative process behind what this stuff is, because literally I am just going off of what's in my brain and what's in my heart. I want to make this next 5 minutes good for you, okay? I feel like I would be investing in self-improvement. Yes, I know that not everybody is financially available to front the money that it takes to work with me. I get that. However, I know that people show up differently when it is something they pay for. So yes, I am thinking of the drop-in yoga class model a little bit more than the subscription because I want a flexible schedule myself. Okay. Scrap Lover 150 is saying, ugh, I wish I got an alert. I don't know why I didn't get an alert, but I will say this, Scrap Lover 150. If you're on the Destination Decluttered mailing list, you know exactly when I'm going to show up doing my TikTok lives because I've shared the schedule with you. Now, I will tell you when I'm not going to be on TikTok live, probably, is next week, Sunday to Thursday, because I will be traveling out of state, time zone differences, stuff scheduled, yada, yada. Might I show up and do a TikTok live when I'm, my husband's still sleeping and I'm like up and kind of bored and waiting for him? Distinctly possible, but it's not. Okay, yeah, I am on the email, but also ADHD. That's why I give you the schedule, because that's something you can then figure out what works for you to help you remind. Notice that TikTok reminders may not be reliable. What's a reminder that you can rely on? Knowing that you need reminders. I need reminders about stuff. That's why I am using a habit tracker this month. I need to remind myself to drink enough water for the day, or else I will be, dehydrated and crabby at the end of the day. I need to remind myself to do certain things. There's nothing wrong with that. Find a thing that works for you. Yep. Christine Gormley says you can set up an alert every time Destination Decluttered goes live. I did it, but I don't know how. The wonderful thing is you don't need to know how. You just need to go up, Google it. How do I set up a TikTok live alert? Jen B says I put her schedule on my calendar. Go to settings and can do it on TikTok. See, we're all here to help. We all know what it's like, Annoying ASMR says, I love the habit tracker. Awesome. It's been a whopping 2 days. I'm digging it too. And I am really curious about this, about how it's going to work, because there's been some things, and I noticed this too, because I want to stop. I'm going to hold off on this because I get 2 minutes and I can talk about me all the time. I don't want to do that. I only talk about me to help you, but now I'm going to shut the F up. And what is going to, in the next 2 minutes, what's going to help you sign off at 9 o'clock and then look at your day ahead and move forward feeling good? How can I help you in these next 2 minutes? I will quiet down. You ask that of yourself and pop something in the comments. All right? Every little sip helps. I love it. Maybe even just saying to yourself, I'll get on the mailing list, or not. I just found out about Beth and Destination Decluttered, and she does these TikTok lives. Maybe I will just follow me on TikTok. And Nikki, I just saw that, and just hearing you helps. Had your YouTubes on yesterday. Yeah, so, I always appreciate your time on here, says Jennifer. Got my laundry in and my dishes done before work. Woo! I love it. I love it. Good stuff on you. I need to change my brain about getting things perfect before my daughter's wedding in December. Yes, perfection is going to disappoint you. When you aim for perfection, you will never get there, so don't start driving towards it. You're going to be disappointed throughout the entire journey. Okay? Oops. TikTok is telling me I need to sign off. But Ignite Yoga is saying, so I'll leave this. Maybe a 10-minute go do this suggestion. Okay, go do this. In the next, just the next room you go into, go check out and what's some surface clutter you can deal with. Easy peasy. Dirty dishes go in the sink, clean dishes go in the cupboard. Dirty clothes go in the hamper, clean clothes go in a drawer. Trash goes in the trash, recycles go in the recycles. Groceries get put away. I'm not saying all of those. Pick something, set a timer for 10 minutes, and that's going to set you up on a good trajectory, okay? Yes, Ignite Yoga. Namaste, people. And for those of you on the mailing list, you know if I'm going to see you tomorrow and Monday or not, you guys, I'm going to show up and do some TikTok lives tomorrow morning. And no, tomorrow's already Saturday. Sunday, I'm traveling. I can't do it. So I will possibly see you tomorrow morning. I will see you tomorrow morning. I don't know when. But I don't know. Have fun, you guys. Let's have fun, but let's get stuff done, okay? I'm going to go have a fun day, and I hope you do too. Bye. Bye. Here you go. Hit the button.